Hello there, thanks for joining this yoga. So we're going to do a 30-minute routine, which if we'll do it again, so you can either just do the 30 minutes or do the full 60 minutes. So we're doing the same more or less routine twice, and in the second 30 minutes maybe feel a bit more mobile, a bit more flexible, a bit more relaxed and stretched out. So we're going to start in what I call windshield wipers, or their hip rotations or hip swivels. So we start seated with the hands out at the side, feet pressing into the floor, knees apart and feet apart. And drawing the chest forward, taking the knees down one side, pause, and centre, pause, and opposite side. So internally and externally rotating our hips. So we're doing about 10 each side, slowly or quickly, it's up to you. We want to notice mainly the outer hip, this outer hip. So if knees are going to the right, you'll notice the stretch in your left hip or your left glute. And change sides, to the left, right hip, right glute. A few more each side. You can keep your chest forward if you want to. More of a stretch in the back, maybe. And a couple more each side. So as you bring the knees down to the side, you might notice the tension in the hips has released a little bit. That's the aim. So now coming over to the right side, and we're kind of in what we call a 90-degree position. So we're not trying to lean over to our right, maybe take the hands just in front of your right shin and try not to round the back. Try to draw your chest forward and hold in for about 30 seconds. Now we're walking our hands behind us, so we're facing towards the right more, and we're over our right thigh now. Instead of our right shin, we're over our right thigh. So a twist here for the back, the spine, a bit more of a twist for the hips. Slowly back, so you're over your right shin, and then hands behind again, and then now a couple more of the windshield wipers or hip swivels. So down to the left, down to the right, and back to the left. So this time try not to lean over to the left too much. Hands come in front, and try and draw the chest forward. And if we can, we've got the legs at 90 degrees, but that doesn't really matter. It's quite an intense stretch for your outer right hip. So you can put on your fingertips or on your palms. And then we're changing now to go over the left thigh, so facing towards the left. Again, trying to draw our chest forward, a twist for the spine. And then back over the left shin, forwards. And then back in towards the front. Okay, so here, going to lie down on our backs. So gently lie down onto the back and bring the knees into the chest. So this is what we call wind relieving posture, or apanasana. So with our knees in towards our chest, we're stimulating our internal organs. So great move for our digestive system, great move for the back and the hips. So we can practice that deep diaphragmatic breath here, which helps to increase lung capacity. So we're breathing into the tummy, and we might feel the tummy pressing a little bit more against the thighs, and then into the side ribs and the chest. And then breathing out, releasing the chest, the side ribs, maybe gently drawing the tummy away from the thighs. So if at any point in the 30 minutes routine you're not keen on posture, this is one of the ones that you could come back into yourself. So it's your practice, your 30 minutes or your 60 minutes, so make the most of it and do what feels good. Now from here we're coming into a reclining swan or pigeon stretch. So today we're holding these stretches a bit longer. We can also make them more dynamic, increasing mobility and circulation, or we can hold these stretches static, which is a bit more yin-like. I'll leave it to you to decide. I'll do a bit of both. So to start, we're going to press our left foot into the floor, right ankle over the left thigh, and it could be enough to keep gently pushing the knee away, drawing the knee over to the left, and then pushing the right knee away, drawing the right knee over to the left shoulder, pushing the right knee away. Again, that can be dynamic or static. Then to progress, we would take our left foot off the floor and thread the hands between the triangle in between the legs, so hands underneath the left knee or on top of the left shin, and we could be static, or we can take the knees side to side. So if we take the knees a bit over to the left, we'll get a deeper, more intense stretch in our right glute, our right hip. If you want to protect your knees, you can flex the toes, which helps to engage the muscles that surround the knees. So we'll hold about another 60 seconds. Noticing where you feel any tension or a nice stretch, a sensation. And left foot comes to the floor, and now we cross both knees, kind of a shoelace shape with the knees, lifting the feet off the floor. We can either hook the knees into the chest, or we can take hold of the outside of opposite ankle. Draw the feet up towards the shoulders, and this is quite an intense stretch in the right hip, the right glute. Again, we can draw the knees in a bit more, we can take the feet away, take the knees away. We can feel the back rounding as we draw the knees into the chest. We can feel the back flattening as we take the feet away. both feet back down to the floor, uncrossing the legs, and stretch out the legs. Stretch the arms above the head, take a deep breath in. And breathe out, bring the arms down slowly. Bring the knees back into the chest. So that Upanasana again, knees side to side. We can wriggle our toes, we can rotate the ankles. Before we move into reclining pigeon or swan on our opposite side. So here, right foot presses down, left ankle over the right thigh. Again, we can just hug the left knee towards the right shoulder. We can push the left knee out. Keep it a bit more mobile. If we're ready to progress, we could lift our right foot off the floor. Draw the hands either underneath the right knee or on top of the right shin. Staying still, or knees side to side slightly. If we take knees over to the left, we'll notice there's quite an intense stretch in our left hip, left glute. Draw the right knee into the chest a bit more, it's making it even more intense. And right foot comes to the floor. Draw the left knee towards the right, so both knees are kind of in line with each other. Draw the knees into the chest, hug the knees in. If you like to take hold of opposite outside of the ankles, drawing the feet up towards the shoulders, and maybe the knees away, the feet away. Mobilizing, gradually creating flexibility, opening the muscles gradually. Releasing the ankles, bring the feet to the floor, stretch out both legs, stretch the arms above the head, nice deep breath in, and breath out, bring the arms down, and bring our knees back into the chest. So here, if you've got a belt or a scarf handy, have those by the side, or some hamstring flexibility. So first of all, we're pressing our left foot into the floor, and we're just stretching up the heel away, toes towards the face, and then we're bending the foot down, we're pointing the toes. As we lift the leg up, we're flexing the heel away. Point the toes, flex away. So this is for the sciatic nerve. It's called sciatic nerve flossing. So pointing and flexing, lifting the heel up, or the sole of the foot up towards the ceiling is flex, and bringing the foot down, pointing. Try to keep the leg as straight as possible. So if the leg's too far in towards the body, it might be a little bit bent, so we can take the leg further away, hopefully, little bit of a straight right leg. So 5 more of these. Pointing toes down, flexing the heel as we lift up. And then one more, point toes down, flex up. Then we're taking our belt or scarf around the sole of the right foot. Going to hold for about 30 seconds. Nice deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the nose. And slowly release the right leg along the floor, stretch out the left leg as well. Then we're just bringing awareness and comparing both legs. Noticing any sensations, any tingling along the right leg, right toes. Now changing side, so right foot presses into the floor, and then we're lifting that left leg up, sole of the foot up towards the ceiling, heel away, and then bending the left leg, toes point down. Lift up, heel away, toes towards the face, flex toes, and release, point down, about 10 all together. So this sciatic flossing. Try not to be tense in your back. Try to feel your back as though it's kind of gradually spreading out on your mat. So that's another 3. Pointing and flexing. And then we're taking the belt around the sole of the left foot. And holding, breathing, pushing the heel away if you like for a deeper, intense stretch on the left hamstring. Just holding the belt softly, not gripping on too much. Feeling the shoulders soft, relaxed away from the ears. And release the belt, stretch out the left leg, stretch out the right leg, and a few breaths to notice, compare the difference between the left and the right leg. Now a gentle stretch to open our hip flexors. So we can either have 1 or 2 blocks for supported bridge. So we're having the blocks width ways, and maybe try 1 block at first. And we're just resting our spine, the base of our spine, on the blocks or books or cushions, whichever. And we can do what we like with our knee and leg position. So we could have our knees together, feet out. We could have our soles of our feet together, knees out, or we could stretch both legs out. If you stretch both legs out, it's quite a deep back extension, so we need to just be careful of our backs, and we want to feel a nice stretch in the front of the thighs, the hip flexors. And here we can stretch the arms above the head and take hold of opposite elbow. Breathing deeply again, getting your full breath, bringing energy in as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, it's relaxing, working on our nervous system, sending tiny fresh nutrients and oxygen around all the cells in the body. So about 6 more breaths here. Make the most of your breath. Really savour each breath. And then if the legs are stretched out, bring the feet back in, releasing the blocks carefully. Maybe if you're on 2 blocks, 1 at a time, resting the sacrum. And then a couple of pelvic tilts to readjust the back, and then slowly bring the knees back into the chest. And we can take our knees down to right hand side, or we can roll up to seated. So lifting up slowly. So here the option is to come into a seated butterfly or a reclining butterfly. It's up to you. So I'm going to do the seated butterfly. First of all, with the feet close in to my body and the chest forward. And about 6 deep breaths, more yang version for a deeper, more intense stretch in the inner thigh. If you have any back issues, or if you're prone to sciatica, put your bottom to sit on a block, which helps just to give that pelvis a bit of a lift, helps us to fold forward a bit more, or come forward a little bit more. And then into the more yin-like butterfly. So I'm going to bring my bottom off block. I'm going to take the block lengthwise through my feet, take my feet forward a bit more, allowing my back to round, and resting my head in my hands resting on the block. About 6 more breaths in the butterfly. Lift back up nice and slowly, and then we come back to the start of the routine. So back into our dynamic windshield wipers. So feet apart, and this time we'll go down to the left side first. Feet apart, knees down to the left. So notice, do you feel a bit more flexible, a bit more mobile than the first time round? And change. We're increasing our circulation, building flexibility, mobility. So a couple more each way. You can pause, you can hold, you can go quicker or slower. Okay, and then over to the left. So we're seeing if we can go into the right ankle with the legs, making sure we're not leaning over to the left. And then placing our hands over the left shin. And breathing in and out through the nose. Bringing the chest forward. Walking our hands now to the back, so we're over our left thigh, pressing into the hands, drawing the chest forward, gentle twist for the spine. Coming back over the left shin. Back to the centre. And then knees side to side again. Hands out at the side. Take the knees over to the right, and try not to lean over to your right, try to come forward so you're over your right shin. Might feel like a bit of cramp, like myself in left hip, so just stretch it forward and back maybe. hands over the right thigh, pressing into the hands, drawing the chest forward. Hands over the right shin, pause, press into the hands, chest forward. And come back to face the front, and we'll lie down on our back. And bring the knees into the chest. And then massaging our spine, whichever way feels good, knees side to side, or drawing a circle with the knees. And just to release the back a little bit more before we go into that spinal flossing for our sciatic nerve, draw the right knee in towards the chest and extend the left leg along the floor. Push the left heel away, toes towards the face. And then draw the left knee into the chest. Draw the right leg along the floor, heel away, maybe toes towards the face, or just relaxing the toes, whatever feels good. And both knees back into the chest. And we're going to start with the left side sciatic flossing. So right foot down. Again, have your belt handy for the static stretch. So again, we're pushing the heel up towards, so straight as possible with that left leg, and then releasing, bending the left leg toes point down. Try to make sure your back is melting down into the floor. You're not lifting your lower back off the floor to lift the leg up. And bend down, point, lift up, sole of the foot up towards the ceiling, flex. So it's the pointing and flexing which gives the access to the sciatic nerve. About 3 more. And the next one. Hold the belt around the sole of the left foot. So holding about 6 breaths. Maybe draw the foot closer over the face, or take the foot further away. It's up to you. Just try and keep the whole of your back relaxing into the floor. And draw down the left leg, extend the left leg out and the right leg. Maybe close the eyes, go deeper inside to notice the tingling, the fizzing, any sensations in the left or the right leg. Change now to our right side. So first of all, the flossing away, toes towards the face, straighten the right leg, point, bend the right leg, flex up, point, bring down. And another 3. And come to take the belt sole of the right foot, holding about 60 seconds or 6 breaths. And releasing the belt. Stretch your right leg along the floor and the left leg. Close the eyes and feel awareness of our sensations in our right leg. Draw the feet up, bring the knees into the chest. Adding a little bit of ankle flexibility here, extending the right leg along the floor in big circles with the big left toe. First of all, anti-clockwise. And then clockwise. Stretch the left foot along the floor. Take a deep breath in. Extend the arms above the head. Breathing out, draw the right knee in towards the chest. This time, drawing big circles with the big toe clockwise. Anti-clockwise. And draw both knees into the chest, hugging the knees in. And go into our reclining swan or pigeon, and I'll also show you seated swan or pigeon. So this time start with feet both on the floor, right ankle along across the left thigh. You can do that mobility movement, knee in and out. Take the left foot off the floor, thread the hands through, either underneath the left knee or on top of the left knee. Knees side to side. or we can from here bring the left foot down, press into the elbows to lift up. We start with the left leg straight, walk the left foot in a little bit maybe. Maybe lift the bottom off the floor, draw our chest forward. Doing that knee side to side movement if that feels good. And then we could try your reclining shoelace. So you draw the knees together and either hug the knees into the chest or take hold of opposite ankle, the outside. Or if we do the seated version, a bit more intense for our hips, but we should be nicely loosened up. So we take the left heel over to the right hip and the right heel over to the left hip. We come forwards and we, having seated the knees in line like shoelaces-ish. So we can sit up tall or we can walk the hands forward. We can relax our elbows down. So whichever version you're in, we'll hold for about another 60 seconds. Lifting out slowly. So if you're in the seated shoelace, we're walking our hands behind, coming to lie on our backs. So in reclining shoelace, then bringing the feet to the floor, changing to opposite side. So first of all, left ankle over right thigh, right foot into the floor, mobilising the hip a little bit, knee out to the side, knee over to the right shoulder. Then bringing the right foot off the floor, hands thread through, or hands on the right shin. Take the knees in line with each other, maybe reclining into your shoelace, taking hold of the opposite ankle, the outside. Or we'll see if we want to lift up, seated pigeon first of all. Yeah, knees side to side feels quite nice. Or even bringing a foot down. And then see about the seated shoelace maybe. So knees in line and feet down to the floor. Coming forward, either sitting up tall or hands forward. Or elbows forward. About another 60 seconds or 6 long 10-second breaths. slowly reclining again, bringing ourselves out of shoelace or pigeon, maybe stretching both legs in the air, just rubbing the hamstrings or the calves, and then bringing the head to the floor, bringing the knees into the chest. Coming once again into our supported bridge. So if you had the knees in constructive rest position, so that's the knees together and the feet apart, you could change to soles of the feet together and knees apart, or go back into that legs out straight. Just checking that the back isn't compressed too much. Check you're comfortable. If you like, we can take the arms above the head and take hold of opposite elbow. So I'm going to use the constructive rest position, knees together, feet apart. Another 6 slow, deep breaths. Release the arms down. Bring away your blocks. Carefully releasing the back to the floor, knees hugging into the chest. And then bring yourself up for our butterfly. If you like, you can finish with reclining butterfly, with the lying down on the floor, or you could do the butterfly at the wall. So I'm going to start with seated butterfly, more yang, just because it gives me a more intense stretch in the inner thigh. So I'm drawing my feet into the body, taking hold of the toes with both hands, butterflying the knees up and down, drawing my chest forward. So before we go into, going to finish off with about 10 minutes with our legs up the wall. Before I do that, I'm going to just gently do a seated twist, so stretching out both legs and sitting on all our sit bones, so bringing the flesh from underneath the buttocks. We can also sit on a block. We want to first of all make an L shape with our body. And then drawing the right foot over the left knee, pushing the left heel away, toes towards the face, hugging the right knee in towards the left shoulder, and just drawing that chest close to the right thigh. We could bring the right hand behind and look over the right shoulder, look towards the right, more of a twist. Slowly back to centre, extend the right foot away along the floor, right heel away, toes towards the face, drawing the chest forward, so we're in long spine, the L shape, then left foot over right knee, hugging the left knee in towards the right shoulder. Breathing deeply, noticing the back. If you like, with the longest spine as possible, we can rotate gently to the left, bringing the left hand behind, close to the lower back. And coming forward again, sitting up tall. And then extending the left leg along the floor, shaking out the legs. So here, coming into legs up the wall. So we're going to do some of the moves that we've done in the last 50 or so minutes with the legs up the wall. So I'm going to double roll over my mat and bring it at the side of the wall, and then sit with my left hip quite close to the wall, and then we just kind of lie down and take our feet up the wall. So I'll go through a couple of the options. So we can take the feet wide apart, which we haven't done today. This is straddle, which is quite intense. You can do this standing, or you can do it seated. If we do it seated, we don't really, well, for me, I can't really take myself into the forward fold, and I can't really get much of a stretch. With the legs up the wall, it's a great stretch, but also it's supporting your back. So it's realigning your back as well into its natural alignment. So we're hopefully feeling nicely loosened off, mobile, flexible, long and strong. So again, breathing into your back here. Breathing out as deeply as possible, as long as possible. Full use of your breath and all its benefits. And then the less intense stretch now would be the butterfly. So the soles of the feet are together and the knees are out. We can draw the feet further down the wall here. Taking as long as you need now to fully enjoy these stretches for the hips, the back, the legs. And another option we can try is the pigeon or swan at the wall. So we would stretch up both legs, take the left ankle over the right thigh and then bending that right leg. So we're pressing our right foot into the floor, maybe easing the left knee away a little. If your bottom's coming off the floor, try just to make sure your bottom and your lower back is relaxing and releasing into the mat. And change sides, so stretching both legs up again. Right ankle over left thigh, right knee away, drawing the left foot down the floor, down the wall, until you feel a stretch in your right hip. Stretch up the left leg, stretch up the right leg. So either stay a bit longer in legs up the wall or the great rejuvenator, or slowly bring the knees down, bending the knees, taking the knees to your right hand side and pausing there a moment. And press into the left hand to lift up, and then the final is the child pose. So I've got my big toes together, out slightly, bottom onto the heels, resting the elbows down or stretching the hands forward, resting the head onto the mat or your hand. And lift yourself up slowly and come up to hero pose. And thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and see you soon. Bye for now.